Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're out here taking a look at the Vortex Razor red dot sight. That's what I have on the back of my Glock SBR. You guys have probably seen this sight in a previous video along with this particular handgun, or I should say SBR, and that's what I want to show you guys. It's a nice mid-priced red dot sight that seems to be fairly ruggedly built. Let's take a closer look. Let's take a look at the Razor next to the Burris FastFire. Now the Burris FastFire comes to market at about $199. That's when I bought this FastFire II. That's how much it retailed for. The FastFire III is now on the market. It's about the same size, but I don't have any information on it just yet. I haven't gotten my hands on one. But here's the Razor next to the Burris FastFire. You can see the Burris is just a little bit smaller. The screen is a little bit smaller. But the Burris, in my experience, is not nearly as durable. This is what I consider a hobby sight. This is something you would take out to the range and shoot on a Saturday afternoon. This is not something I would personally want on my defensive firearm. It's just too flimsily made. I've broken them in the past. You can drop it, break it, it's done. Just not very rugged. Now the Razor, on the other hand, is built more like the Trijicon RMR. And I'll show you the RMR next to this sight here in just a few minutes. Now, take a look at how rugged this is. If you take a look at just where the metal is around the screen, you'll notice the thickness is over twice the thickness. But again, it is slightly bigger. Now, this sight only weighs 1.4 ounces, so it's not a very heavy sight. Now, another downside to the Burris FastFire is the fact that the Burris FastFire requires you to remove it from its mount to replace the battery. The Vortex Razor, you don't have to remove it from its mount. There's just a trap door here on the side. You pry it open, the battery is inside. I'll show you that here in a few minutes. And you put the battery back in, so you don't mess with the zero on your sight. This sight is sold by my friends over at Three Rivers Precision for $479. And I'll put a promotional code down below to take a little bit more off that price. It's probably the best price you're going to find on the Razor anywhere on the internet. But the Razor at $479 versus the $200 of the FastFire II is slightly more expensive, but keep in mind that the Razor will actually come with a mount. It'll come with a 1913 style mount. Sights like the FastFire, you'll have to buy a mount that works with it. It doesn't come with the 1913 style mount. If you take a look at the RMR, those sights are just over $500, like 550 bucks or so. Then you add in the cost of a mount and you're closer to $700 by the time you're getting the sight ready to mount it on a rifle or a handgun. So this sight does come with the mount necessary to mount it to 1913 style rail. Now the mount that you see here on this Glock slide is a $19 option I picked up off the Vortex website itself, and that allows me to mount it to the rear sight dovetail of this Glock handgun. They have several different models available for other handguns. So overall, it's right in the middle of the price road. It's more expensive than the Burris FastFire II, and it's less expensive by a couple $100 than the Trijicon RMR. Now I'm comparing it to the LED RMR and not the one that's the dual illuminated model. I hate those, they're worthless, but they are cheaper. Now this sight features a 3 MOA dot, but it's also available with a 6 MOA dot. I prefer the smaller 3 MOA dot. Let's take a look at this next to the RMR. What would a Mac review be without a little bit of a torture test, right? I have the Razor attached to the Vepr 12 gauge. I have some boards out here. The ground is kind of soft and I don't want to cheat. I want to see just how tough this sight is. Now let's imagine that you're out in the field and you drop your gun and it lands straight down on the sight from about 4 feet in the air. And you do it twice. And you do it 3 times. Let's see if I can hit the board. I mean, look what we're doing to the board. It's putting nice notches in the board. The question is the sight still working? Seems to be no worse for the wear. It is a hard anodized finish, black finish. Seems to be just fine. Definitely no damage to the lens. We'll see how it works. Dot is still on, and it's still zeroed. That sucker is really, really tough. Huh. I'm impressed. I like it. This is the Trijicon RMR. Now this is on my go-to rifle, the Arsenal SGL 3194. Now you'll notice that the RMR sits nice and low. I have a 100% co-witness with this sight on this rifle, but it's also very ruggedly built. Take a look at how thick the metal housing is around the glass. So it's a very durable sight. Now here it is next to the Razor. Now you'll notice they're about the same size, except the Razor sits a little bit taller. Now the RMR is very, very rugged. This sight is very durable. You can take this thing out and drive nails with it. It's extremely, extremely rugged. This sight, in my experience, is also very rugged. You can drop it, bang it around, you're not gonna hurt it. It's not as frail as the Burris FastFire. Now the downside, again, to the RMR is you have to remove this particular model to get the battery out of underneath the sight, which means you mess with your zero. Again, the Razor, you don't have to do that. Now the RMR comes to market at right around 560 bucks just for the sight. $479 for this sight plus its mount. By the time you buy a mount for the RMR to put it on any type of firearm, a 1913 style mount, a handgun mount, something like that, you're getting closer to $700. So at that point, the Razor does become very attractive. It's a couple $100 less once you include the mounts, which is obviously necessary. Now the RMR is also completely submersible. You can take this thing scuba diving with you if you want to. This sight's water resistant. I don't think I would go diving with it. Go past 30 feet, you'll probably destroy it. But stand out in the rain, things like that, this sight's going to hold up just fine. Now you'll notice also that this sight requires you to use an Allen head wrench to make adjustments to the windage and elevation. It's located in the same spot as you would find on either the Burris FastFire or the RMR. You have your elevation here and you have your windage here on the right hand side. Now this sight also has a lock nut in the back of it, so you have to turn it off, turn back off the screw on the lock nut, which would then allow you to make adjustments to elevation and windage. When you're done, you tighten it back down, it locks it in place so it won't drift on you while you're using it. The RMR has the adjustments in the same spot, elevation here, windage here, but there's no lock nut. So, and these things hold just fine. They got really nice positive clicks. So it's just a different approach to doing pretty much the same thing. And the original Burris FastFire had the lock nut back here as well. I prefer not to have it, but what do you do? Now this is an older RMR as well. The new RMRs have brightness adjustments, buttons on either side of the housing. The Vortex Razor has its adjustments inside behind the screen. I find them easy to get to and easy to push, and they'll just raise and lower the brightness. It also comes with the hood. You put the hood on it, it puts the sight to sleep. It's just like the Burris FastFire in that regard. Take the hood off, touch one of these brightness buttons, the sight comes to life and it'll stay on until you turn it off. You can turn it off much like an EOTech. You just hold down both buttons and you can turn it off or put the hood back on. Let's remove the battery from the Razor. This is the battery trap door right here, and you can see a large slot. It's fairly broad. You can put a flathead screwdriver in there, or you can just use a pocket knife. I'm gonna stick my knife tip in there and just pry slightly, and it will bring that door right open. The door is O-ring sealed, and it's a CR2032 3-volt battery just inside there. You can see the O-ring right around there. So that's really nice. You can remove the battery easily. It won't just fall out. I've not had the trapdoor come open by itself with shooting or anything like that. It snaps positively into place, and you can remove it in the field very easily and replace the battery. Now regarding the battery life, I've had this sight for about 3 months. I don't really turn it off when I put it away. I do put the hood on it most of the time, but not all the time, before I stick it in the safe. Again, 3 months, I haven't gone through one battery yet, so I don't know how long the battery really lasts, but so far I'm impressed with the battery life. Now I have the Vortex Razor mounted on top of the Vepr 12-gauge shotgun. I really like this sight on the shotgun. It's nice and small, lightweight, doesn't mess with the balance of the shotgun whatsoever. And of course it can handle the recoil of the 12-gauge very well. Works like a top. Now one of the other things I've noticed about the Vortex Razor is that on its brightest setting I can turn it up bright, and I can aim it at the sky, and I can bring it over towards the sun, and I can still see that dot when I'm almost on the sun. I don't want to go any further, I'll be looking right at the sun. So this dot does not wash out whatsoever. It does not automatically adjust brightness. You have to do that yourself. Overall, I'm really impressed with the quality and the usability of the red dot sight. Well guys, it's time for some final thoughts on the Vortex Razor red dot sight. The Vortex Razor is a very nice red dot sight. I think it comes to market at a competitive price. It's priced between the RMR and the Burris FastFire sights. It's right in between, but it is a couple $100 by the time you include the mounts than the RMR. Now, it is considerably more than the Burris FastFire, but if you take into consideration the Burris FastFire is easily broken and not very durable, again, I consider it to be something of a hobby sight, I think that the Vortex Razor has a very nice market carved out for itself. This particular sight has a 3 MOA dot. I like the smaller dot, but it is also available with a 6 MOA dot. If you plan on using this primarily on handguns, you'll probably be fine with the 6 MOA dot. It probably would work even better for you. But I like to use them between handguns and rifles, so the 3 MOA dot seems to work well for me. Now, I've also noticed that I've had this on my SBR Glock, and you guys have even commented this on one of my videos, that the sight itself is actually getting peened by the steel cases of the Wolf ammunition and also the brass cases that I was shooting out here this afternoon. Some of those brass and steel cases are whacking the sight directly on its lens, but there's no damage to the lens that I can see. It's a very, very tough lens. I'm not sure what it's made out of, but it's scratch resistant and it's chip resistant. I haven't been able to break it, and those rounds hitting it have done no damage to it whatsoever. You guys can also pick this sight up from our friends over at Three Rivers Precision. That's where I got mine. Now, those guys are giving a nice discount. I'll put a link in the information in the description below. And they're doing that out of the kindness of their hearts because they're also Mac fans. I get no kickbacks from anything that you see on this channel, including this sight. So I'm not making any money by telling you to go over to Three Rivers Precision and buy one of these if you want to get one of these sights. I really do think you'll like it. It's a great sight for the money. You'll see me using it more in the future. If you guys have any questions about what you've seen here this afternoon, you can always ask those questions on our Facebook page. You can find us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/military arms. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for the subscriptions. We'll talk to you guys soon.